Hi there, my name is Aya, and you're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to tier rank every single romance book I've ever read. There's a caveat. I will not be ranking all the romances I've read in 2023. So this is basically all the romances I've read before 2023. And that is because I already did a tier ranking for all the books I've read this year, which I'll leave linked for you. And I felt like it was just going to be repetitive to put those books in here as well. I read a lot of romances this year, so most of the books I talk about in that video are romances. So if you're interested in the romance books of this year, then definitely check that video out. So yes, let's get started. All right, so this is my tier ranking here. It's kind of boring, but oh well. I have all-time favorite, love, like, need to reread, it was fine, don't remember, and hate. So need to reread are for those where I'm actually debating if it's like, love, usually with those two, probably. Yeah, I think that those are all the caveats. Yeah. Anyway, so as I can see here, this is really in no particular order, which is really random. So let's get started. It happened one summer. Honestly, I kind of need to reread it, but I think I love it. I really love this book. I love the grumpy sunshine aspect of it. I do really want to reread it, but I don't think I need to reread it to know my full thoughts on this book. So, yeah, it is definitely love. People we meet on vacation was fine to me. Yeah. It's mainly because of the trope. I don't love long-term friends to lovers. I do like Emily Henry writing romances, but people we meet on vacation just, yeah, I don't like this trope. The X Talk, I like. I thought it was a solid contemporary romance. Maybe I'll reread it in the future one day and it might get bumped up to love, but for now, it is like. I did enjoy my time reading it. But I don't think this will ever be an all-time favorite. Now, Bridge Kingdom, however, is definitely an all-time favorite. I love this book. I actually recently reread it and it just solidified for me that it is an all-time favorite. It's one of my favorite fantasy romances. I love everything about this book. Roomies is bordering between It Was Fine and Don't Remember. Because I read it not too long ago and I do remember really loving it when I first read it, but now as the time goes on, I rarely think about this book. So I'm actually gonna put it at Don't Remember because at the time I really did love it, or at least liked it. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it at Don't Remember. Let me actually see if there. Why do I have a feeling? Oh yeah, okay. I was looking for Twisted Games, but it's all the way down here. Okay. So, The Spanish Love Deception, I'm going to put I need to reread. Because I do remember loving it, and I do have a feeling that if I reread it, it's going to be an all-time favorite. But now I cannot solidly say that it is, so therefore I really do need to reread it. Oh, if you hadn't guessed already, I'm not going to give you any synopses for these books. Just look them up, please, because I have, I think, over 80 books to talk about, so. Twisted Love. I'm debating between hate and It Was Fine. Okay, so Twisted Lies, I hate it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't like this book. I don't like this hero. It was not good. I do remember giving Twisted Love a higher rating. And maybe on reread, I'll love it more than I did, but I don't know. They're both billionaire romances. That's not my favorite trope. So let's just put it at It Was Fine. I definitely liked Twisted Lies less than Twisted Love. Okay, so The Love Hypothesis, I'm going to put at like. I did really enjoy myself reading it, but now having put a distance between me and this book, It was fine. I've read better romances than this. I do understand why people love this book so much, but so I did really like it, but I don't think I would say that I really loved it. Savage Lover, I'm gonna put at this was fine. I did enjoy myself, but I don't think this book I'll ever reread unless I do an entire reread of the whole Brutal Birthright series. But I don't think I'll ever like pick it up willingly on my own. This was fine. I like them, but it's definitely not my favorite couple, not my favorite story. So yeah. Bound by Honor was also fine. I know I liked it when I read it, but I think I read it in 2021. Nothing in me has compelled me to continue on, even though I know there are other books in the series and the spin-off that a lot of people really, really love, yet I still haven't continued. This couple was not really my favorite, so I guess it was fine. Okay. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say, I completely forgot, was that I only put novels in here and not novellas, except for the one I'm going to talk about now. If you want me to do a separate video on novellas, definitely let me know and I will. For now, this one, I'm going to put it at all-time favorite. And technically there are four novellas, but altogether it's a full-length book. As in the length of a full-length book, even though it's 4 different stories. I absolutely love The Dukes Who Stole Christmas. It is one of my favorite Christmas stories of all time. I adore it. I love every single story in this book. And I felt like for this book, I could bend the rules. The Italian by T.L. Swan, I hated. I hate everything about this book. I don't like it at all. It was too long. I didn't love the male character. I didn't love the female character. I didn't love the plot line. I didn't love anything about this book. And once again, with Twisted Lies, I feel like these two are similar. Even though this is technically a mafia romance and not a billionaire romance, this has all the tropes I hate about a billionaire romance. So no to this man. Sorry to this man. Okay. Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. I like. Maybe on a reread, I will love it. I did enjoy my time reading it, but I think coming off of Brutal Prince, which is my favorite ever, I think I kind of was let down a little bit by Stolen Heir. And I do have a feeling that if you didn't love Brutal Prince, then you're really gonna love Stolen Heir, and the other way around. If Brutal Prince was your favorite, then Stolen Heir being the next book you read will be a little bit of a disappointment. I'm not saying I was disappointed by Stolen Heir. I'm saying I liked it and I didn't really love it. Captive Desire was fine. I love the first book, which is Toxic Desire, which is right here. I'm gonna put it at love. This is an alien romance I absolutely adore with my whole heart and soul. I've already reread it. And Captive Desire is fine, especially in comparison to Toxic Desire. I did enjoy my time reading it, but I would never willingly reread it, whereas I can see myself rereading Toxic Desire over and over again and never getting bored. The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, I loved. I really love this book. It's a white shoes monster romance. I've not read a whole lot of white shoes, but if they're all as good as this one, it's definitely going to be a favorite trope of mine. I really liked it. I was thoroughly entertained by this book. It Happened, or Scandal in Spring. I'm sorry, Scandal in Spring was fine, honestly. Especially looking back on it, I don't like this, especially as I love Lisa Kleypas. Her stories tend to stick with me, and this one definitely didn't. So that is for me a reason that it was just fine, especially in comparison to all of Lisa Kleypas's books. Hook, Line, and Sinker was also fine. Although now seeing Scandal in Spring with these, well, it's fine. Hook, Line, and Sinker, especially in comparison to It Happened One Autumn, which I loved. I didn't really love Hook, Line, and Sinker. I didn't really love the couple, and I don't know, it was just fine. Like, I was entertained while reading it, but it didn't really stick with me. And I never ever think about this book. The Secret by Julie Garwood, I loved. This is bordering on all-time favorite. Maybe on reread it will bump itself up to all-time favorite, but for now it's a book I love. I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading it. It's definitely a favorite historical romance of mine, and I would highly, highly recommend it. In a Holidays was fine. Yeah. This was a book I read. It's bordering on Don't Remember, which is funny considering it's both Christina Lauren. Yeah, it's a fun holiday romance if you're looking for that. But I have read better holiday romances like The Dukes Who Stole Christmas. But yeah, I definitely, like, it's not like I put this book down and was like, I wasted my time reading it, because I definitely didn't feel that way. Wolf Song is an all-time favorite. I love Wolf Song. It is so near and dear to my heart. Even though I read it in 2021, I still vividly remember everything I read about this book. I actually read this book a lot on the train. And at the same time, I was listening to a particular song, every time I listen to this song now, I think of Wolf Song. So yeah, I really, really love this book. Wolf Gone Wild, I liked. Yeah, my favorites actually come later on in the series. I definitely did really like Wolf Gone Wild. I do think with a lot of other books I'm talking about, on a reread, this might end up being bumped up to love. But for now, I did really like it. And I really love seeing Mateo and Evie's story throughout the rest of the books. So yeah, they are definitely this is, first of all, the book that started it all, but they are definitely the couple that started it all. And yeah, I really love it. Sea of Ruin, an all-time favorite. I love this book. I love it so much. Yeah, I really love everything about this book. I would highly recommend it. It's, once again, a favorite historical romance, and like the twist in this book was fabulous. The Bright Test, I'm sorry, I hated it. I really didn't love this story at all. I really thought I would love it, especially after reading The Kiss Quotient. But I'm sorry, I didn't love it. What can I say? Romancing the Duke, I loved. I love this story. It's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I love historical romance Beauty and the Beast retellings. So yeah, Tessa Dare can do no wrong, in my opinion. What's his book called? Devil in Winter. I'm debating between like and loved. I'm gonna say love, because I did really love this book. I love Lisa Kleypas needed to do a lot of work on her hero, especially given the events of the book before it. I think she did a wonderful job, and yeah, I just really love it. After Midnight, I love. I actually read the second book, but I didn't put it in here because it kind of spoils this book, so I'll just talk about After Midnight. I love this book. It was so entertaining to me. It's a historical romance, but sort of with a paranormal twist, or like a mystery revolving a potential paranormal twist. This was top tier. And I do think, honestly, with a reread, it might become an all-time favorite. I still think about this book sometimes, and I thought it was amazing. It Happened One Autumn is an all-time favorite. I absolutely love this book. I love this couple. It is actually one of my favorite couples of all time. I love them so much. And yeah, this is just an amazing book, in my opinion. Brutal Prince, I love. On a reread, it might get bumped up to all-time favorite. For now, it isn't. Because as much as I love it, I haven't really felt the urge to reread this. Whereas with these books, I can definitely, I have felt the urge. And with some of them, I have reread them. Some of them, I think I will definitely reread them this Christmas. And with the other ones, I definitely do want to reread them soon. So since I never felt that feeling with Brutal Prince, it's not an all-time favorite yet, but it might be. The Wallflower Wager I liked. I didn't love this one as much as a lot of other people did. I did enjoy it. I thought I was thoroughly entertained, and like I said, I've never given a Tessa Dare a very low rating. Oops, let me just. But out of all of the Tessa Dare I've read, this one is definitely not one of my favorites. Okay, A Hunger Like No Other. A Hunger Like No Other. I decided not to put every single one of the Immortals After Dark books on here because those are 19 books. Plus, I binged a lot of them, so it's very hard for me to really decide what my favorite is. Once again, I need to reread them. So A Hunger Like No Other is like, I just put this one in, but I'm really talking about the entire Immortals After Dark series. It's definitely an all-time favorite series. I absolutely loved it. I did like some of them I love more than others, but overall the series is an all-time favorite. I was thoroughly entertained reading all of them, and I'll definitely be rereading them in the future. The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie, I liked. I know this is a lot of people's all-time favorite historical romance, and I do feel like the timing of when I read this was just not quite right. So I am planning on rereading this one in the future. And then it might actually be bumped up to love, or maybe even an all-time favorite. So I do feel like my timing with The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie was just not quite right. But it is what it is. I read it and I liked it. Bloody Heart. I'm debating between love and liked. I truly don't know. I'm going to say like, because this trope, I feel like Sophie Lark did it wonderfully, but it's just not really my favorite trope of this sort of second chance romance and surprise baby. But yeah, I did really like it. Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, I also liked. Unfortunately, it's not one of my favorites. I know it's a lot of other people's favorites, but I did thoroughly enjoy myself, and I do definitely see why a lot of people love this book. Secrets of a Summer Night was fine to me. I didn't really enjoy this one, but I do enjoy I didn't enjoy this couple in their own book, but I do enjoy this couple in other books in this series. Okay, so I was talking about Secrets of a Summer Night. I had to charge my battery, so yeah, it was fine. Maybe on reread I'll like it more than I did, but moving on. Act for Age, Eve Brown, I loved. I really love this book. I've only read it once, and it's definitely my favorite of the Brown sisters. I remember thoroughly enjoying this book. Again, The Magic, I also really loved. I feel like I keep repeating myself in this video, but I do feel like if I reread it, it might become an all-time favorite, but for now, it's just a book that I loved. Great second chance romance, and yeah, definitely one of my favorite Lisa Kleypas. Rhapsodic, also really loved. Yeah, I just love this fantasy romance. Maybe if this was a duology, it might be an all-time favorite, but because I do feel like, especially in the second and third book, there were some... I felt like there was... I feel like a lot of things could have been removed from this trilogy, but overall, I did really love it. Radiance, I liked. Once again, same with The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. Let's just put those two together. I feel like I read it at the wrong time, and I did enjoy myself, but I do know that this is a lot of people's favorite book, and for me, it was just not that. An Offer from a Gentleman, I hated. Mainly because of Benedict, because I fucking hate this man. Sorry to this man, I hate you. He was just god-awful, so that just ruined my experience of this book. Well Met, I liked. Yeah, not much to say about this book. I really, really enjoyed it when I read it, but I decided this year actually that I wasn't going to continue on with this series. Beach read, even though this is not really a romance in the technical sense. I mean, it is, there is an HEA, but it does deal a lot with the main character's personal things. So it feels like more like women's fiction. I did like it. Yeah, I'll just put it in like, yeah, not much else to say about this one. Take a Hint, Annie Brown, I also liked. Like I said, I just really love Eve Brown. It is my favorite. And the other two I liked. Let me actually put this one here as well. Yeah, I like these two. I love the third one. Never Seduce a Scot is an all-time favorite romance, but it's also an all-time favorite book. I love this book with my whole heart and soul. And yeah, I cannot wait to reread it. A Touch of Darkness, I hated. I didn't enjoy this book while I read it, and all I want, like, there's nothing in me that loves this book. I never continued on with this series, and I didn't really like any of these characters. The Viscount Who Loved Me is an all-time favorite. Once again, an all-time favorite historical romance, an all-time favorite romance, and an all-time favorite book. Love it. I love it so much. The Unhoneymooners, I loved. I thoroughly enjoyed myself while reading this book. It is one of the few closed-door romances that I really love. A Court of Mist and Fury, all-time favorite. Do I need to say anything more? I love Risa and Feyre together, and this book solidified the ACOTAR series as one of my all-time favorite series. The Duke and I was fine. I get why a lot of people hate this book. I don't hate it, but I did, like, it's definitely not a favorite. And yeah, especially compared to the second book, it does not even come close to comparing. Birthday Girl, I hate it. I know this is a lot of people's favorite book. It's definitely not mine. I hated these main characters. I didn't believe their love story, and I found them just annoying. Dark Lover was fine. I read this book. It was fine, but I didn't love it at all, and it actually prevented me from continuing on with the series. I have plans to continue on, but for now, it was fine. A Court of Thorns and Roses, I liked. I know in hindsight, obviously, she's supposed to be with somebody else, but I do have to say, I reread this book, and knowing that she doesn't end up with Tamlin, I did enjoy their love story for what it was. I'm like, red flags, who, where? No, but seriously, I can still, even though I know what's going to happen with our love story, I still enjoy it as I'm reading it. I think that's just the magic of Sarah J. Maas. The Governess Game, it was fine. I think this might be my least favorite Tessa Dare. I still really liked it. Well, no, not really liked it. I still liked it when I was reading it, but as I was reading it, it was just fine to me. Especially, and now even more so. Comparing it to the first book in this series, comparing it to Romancing the Duke, it was really just fine in comparison. Don't Hex and Drive was fine as well. I liked it less than Wolf Gone Wild, and the third book is my favorite in the series. I just don't really love this heroine. She's not a favorite type of heroine to read about, so it was just fine. Reborn Yesterday, I hate it. I didn't like this book. It is a vampire romance, and I felt like it was not very well fleshed out. So no, I didn't continue on, and I had high hopes, but it just didn't. It didn't meet those high hopes. Simple Wild was fine. I know everybody and their mother loved this book. I wasn't one of them. It was just fine to me. This romance was fine. The Kiss Quotient, I love. And I really do want to reread it, but I don't need to reread it to know that I loved it. I love Stella, I love Maiko, I love their story, and I really love the spice. This might have been my spiciest book I read at the time I read this one. From Blood and Ash, I hate. Oh my god, I'm making so many people angry with this here. I don't like this book. I think it's way too big for what it's trying to do. The world building is not on point, which is one of my most important thing in fantasies and fantasy romances, so that's a no for me. Look the Part is an all-time favorite. I love this book. Hopefully I can reread it this year, and if not, it's going to be a high priority for next year. I love this story. If you love Heartless by Elsie Silver and you've not read Look the Part, I would highly recommend you do so. Vicious was fine. This was just fine to me. I did enjoy reading it at the time. I did like the hate to love bully romance aspect to it, but I never really continued on with the series, and the more time spent away from it, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm fine having read the first one and not continuing on. Dark Fever, I like. Well, I mean, I'm debating. The romance was fine. Let's just rank the romance. Actually, Dark Fever is not really a romance series. It's more an urban fantasy. But let's just put it at like. The romance is not my favorite, but I do love this story. And the romance that is in here is enjoyable in some way. The Duchess Deal, I need to reread because I'm debating whether it's a love or an all-time favorite. But I do think I need to reread it to really make my decision on that. But I do know that it's at least, I love it. Like that is one thing I can say. I do really love this book. And I would highly recommend it. It is, I think it's my favorite Tessa Dare. Love and Other Words, I hate it. Oh my god, this book. I honestly don't know why people love this book so much. It is a mystery to me. I don't understand. I hated this book. Crescent City, I love. I haven't read the second book yet, so please, whatever you do, please don't spoil me. I did love it. But to me, it feels, I don't know, like I should reread this to read the second book, and especially to read this third book once that comes out. And since it is so big, it feels like a chore for me to do that. So that's why it's not an all-time favorite, because A Court of Mist and Fury might be just as long, but it's definitely not a chore for me. Twisted Hate, I love. I absolutely love this book. It's so good. I love the whole hate to love aspect of it, and it's just a very, very, very good book in my opinion. Maybe Someday I Hate. I fucking hate this book. I do have a rant review of this book that is privated, but I recently watched it and I just remembered all the reasons why I hated this book. This heavily involves cheating, and that just makes these characters so unlikable to me. Tempting the Best Man by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't remember this one. I don't remember any single plot point about this book, so I don't remember. The Hating Game, I need to reread this one because I do remember really loving it. It is one of the first romances I really, really loved. But since it has been years, I did really enjoy the movie. I recently watched that one, but I do really want to reread it to fully know my thoughts. Okay, Addicted to You, I hate it. I hate this book with a passion. I gave it 2 stars. And this is, even though a part of me thinks that I might enjoy the rest of this series that doesn't involve Lillian Lowe, this book is the sole reason why I never continued on and probably never will continue on. Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I don't remember this book. And I think even if I did remember it, it would be just fine. Yeah. I used to really love Rainbow Rowell, and I don't know, I kind of fallen out of love with her. And I don't remember a whole lot about this book. After, I hate. I don't know, I'm going to bump it up to It Was Fine. This book, even though it's over 500 pages, you fly through it. So that is definitely, I can give props to Anna Todd for that. But this romance just sucks. These characters suck. And yeah, I've never really continued on with the series. Ugly Love was fine. I remember thinking so when I read it. I felt like, so there's this whole mystery attached to this book, and to me it was very predictable what happened. Um, so yeah, I I can definitely see why a lot of people love it, but to me it was just fine. Air of Fire is an all-time favorite. The reason I put Air of Fire here is because um, that's I feel like Air of Fire is when this series turned from being a young adult series to slowly becoming like new adult. And since these are all adult romances, I put Air of Fire here. It's an all-time favorite. Are Rowan and Elena my all-time favorite book couples? No. But I love Sarah J. Maas. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. So Aaron, and actually the Throne of Glass series is one of my favorite series and might actually be my favorite series by her. Slant by Colleen Hoover. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot, but even if I did remember, it's either going to be a hate or it was fine. This is a student teacher romance. Even when reading it, I thought it was only fine, and I never continued on. So to me, but I mean, if you ask me beat for beat, or like if you ask me like an actual synopsis of this book, I couldn't tell you without having to read the Goodreads synopsis, and even then I might not even know. So that's why it's on Don't Remember. The Ex-Hex is an all-time favorite. I cannot really explain to you why I love this book so much. I think it's a combination between small town reminding me of Stars Hollow plus witches. I just love that. I love witchy stories and I love this romance, and it's just like a really good book in my opinion. Although I do have to say I do understand why some people don't love it, because it's not that spicy, and like the whole second chance thing, like the whole like them still being obsessed with each other even though it was a fling of a couple of months. But I don't care. I love it. I don't need to justify myself. Where I Belong by Jay. I don't even know. This book I hated. I really hated it. I didn't like a single thing about this book. Like the whole start of it was strange to me because she used to be overweight, or she used to be bigger. Like, I don't know if she was actually fat, but anyway, he used to tease her and she had a crush on him. And then years later, she changed. They had a one night stand. And both of them didn't recognize each other. And I'm like, you grew up together. How is that even possible? Moving on. The Edge of Never. I honestly need to reread it because I forgot a lot of things about it. And I did really love it when I read it, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. So I cannot give you like I cannot tell you whether this is a like, love, or all-time favorite. So yeah, I'd have to reread it to tell you that. Faking It was fine. Or actually don't remember. I really don't remember a whole lot. Same with Losing It. I remember really liking them at the time, but they're very forgettable to me. I do have to say, I've read these books like years and years and years ago, so it would make sense that I don't remember a whole lot. Coincidence of Callie and Caden, same thing, don't remember. I don't even remember if this is an actual adult romance or a young adult. It might actually be new adult, so yeah. Beauty from Pain, I kind of hate. I hated it when I read them. I don't really, like I said, I don't really love following the same couple for multiple books. And that's what kind of happened. And that is what this book is. It's a trilogy. Fallen Too Far, I hate. I hate it so much. I might hate it more than Beauty from Pain. I don't like these two characters. This is like a step-sibling romance, I think, and it was just not good. Frigid by Jalen or Jennifer L. Armentrout. I also don't really remember. I do remember this one scene that never left my head, where they're in bed and the hero, while sleeping, is doing things to the heroine, like sexually, and she's loving it. because she's had a crush on him for such a long time. Obsession, I would need to reread it because I love this book, but I don't know if I don't know if I'd still love it if I read it now after having read so many romances. This is actually a spin-off from her Lux series, which I decided to DNF, but I do remember really loving this book. So it's an alien romance, and like I said, I did really love it. So I do want to reread them. Or I do want to reread this one. And then Twisted Games, I really love. Yeah, maybe these two, Anna Huang's, if I reread them, they will be an all-time favorite. But for now, I just really love them. So yes, those were all the books. So there's actually 5 books I need to reread, and I do definitely want to do that. So let me know if you want me to do a vlog of me rereading these books to find out if they're actually an all-time favorite. So these are my all-time favorites. So this whole series, like I said, Immortals After Dark, all of the books are just all-time favorites. And then I have The Bridge Kingdom, The Dukes Who Stole Christmas, Wolf Song, Sea of Ruin, It Happened One Autumn, Never Seduce a Scot, The Viscount Who Loved Me, A Court of Mist and Fury, The Throne of Glass series, Look the Part, and The Ex-Hex. These books I love, which is, I think, yeah, this is one of the biggest tiers. I really love these, but I would highly recommend all of these in this tier. And I would also really recommend the like tier. Yeah, some of these are part of my favorite series. So The Brutal Birthright. Yeah, I think you can never go wrong with Tessa Dare. I also really love Emily Henry's books. And The Brown Sisters, also a great series. It was fine category, I do have to say. With this category, there are some books in here that a lot of people love. And I can definitely say that with this category, most of them, it could definitely be me. Like, for example, People We Meet on Vacation. The only reason why I didn't love this book is because I don't love the trope. And yeah, I know a lot of people love The Simple Wild. Same with Don't Hex and Drive. I can really connect to the main female character, but maybe you will, and then it might actually be a favorite of yours. The Don't Remember category. So the Don't Remember category and the Need to Reread category are kind of the same, except with the Don't Remember, I would never reread these ones. Like, with the Need to Reread, I do remember some things, and I do remember really loving it, whereas with the Don't Remember category, I don't remember, and I also don't care to. And then these are the ones I hate. There are more of them than I thought, because I usually tend to give books higher ratings. I think my average rating on Goodreads is very high. I could look that up, and I will do so. So yeah, I would not recommend any of these, but I do know that, for example, Birthday Girl, Twisted Lies, The Bride Test, obviously From Blood and Ash, Maybe Someday, Love in Other Words. A lot of people do really love those books. So definitely don't let my hating on them dissuade you from reading these books if that is what you really want. So let me actually look up my average Goodreads rating. So yeah, my average rating is a 4.12. So I really do tend to give my books higher ratings on average. So yes, those were me tier ranking all the romances I've ever read. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you agree with my tier ranking or if you disagree. Definitely let me know. And I would really love to know your all-time favorite romances. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to know what I think about the romances I've read this year, I'll leave the video I did that in linked for you. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.